Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is, well, I was going to talk about the next group, but let me first talk about the 4 week gut protocol because oh my gosh, I know a lot of us, I hope at this point are having really good results with it, and feeling really great on it. And I want you to know that it's still a really good idea to continue sharing about it. Especially if you're loving it, if you want to stay on it, if you're getting great results, if your people are getting great results. Like I just shared one yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, like how is that possible with low impact workouts, right? Um, so I first wanted to say that my plan going forward with 4 week gut protocol is through this week, I'll probably still add people to that same bod group. And then after that, I plan on starting a message thread for people. I don't know how long I'm going to do it or what, but I know for me, I plan on personally doing the 4 week gut protocol for at least another, like, let me think, like 8 weeks to get through to 75 hard. Which is another story for another day. So I know that I'll still actively be doing it and easily be able to support people in that. So that's my plan. And at the end of this test group, I'll like message or email my people to say, like, if you want to be in this message chat, and if any of you guys want to be in there, add your people, I'm open to that too. But I'm just trying to say that's my long-term view of what the 4 week gut protocol, because I want to continue sharing about it and I want to still have a space that people can plug in and feel supported. And I feel like with that email now that can get them started, I feel like that's all they need, right? An email to get started and then somewhere to plug in to be able to share things. So that's my plan for that. And then to kind of switch gears, I'm getting really excited to also use what I have to already do for 75 hard and use it for my next boot camp. And that is, I think I've shared it with a few of you, to have a custom, I've done it in the past, pretty much every summer for the last like 3 summers, a custom hybrid running and our workouts. Taking 3 weeks, and I'm thinking that we would launch it. Let me look it up just so I make sure I get it right. Launch is that the 3 weeks are ending on Memorial Day because we have Fire and Flow later in the summer. I don't want to wait too long. So I'm like, now is when hopefully the rain is going to start going away and the weather will actually cooperate in a way that will be perfect for people to want to get outside. Yeah, Sally, do you have a
Just
question?
a question.
Yeah.
So just like timing wise, did you just say, are you doing that 3 week hybrid before Fire and Flow?
Yes, yes. So
Oh,
I'm thinking I'm going to kick it off on May 9. So
oh,
May
okay.
9,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I mean, Fire and Flow is going to launch for sale on the 24th. But
Mhm.
I don't plan on kicking off my group because they are going to have 2 launches for Fire and Flow, right? One for coaches and for customers, and then one for customers. And I typically always like to wait and have a larger kickoff group and wait
Yeah.
for my customers can purchase too, so they're not forced to sign up as a preferred customer. So yeah, it works out. It works out that we'll be able to start this running hybrid boot camp on May 9 for 3 weeks, ending on Memorial Day. And then the next, we'll have kind of a week of trickle. And then the next week would be our Fire and Flow launch. So because I'm thinking May 9 for my kickoff, that means already next Monday, I'm going to announce this, start promoting it really hard, emailing people, inviting people to it. This is a great boot camp to invite people to too, especially if you notice, like this is how like Frances Dress, if she was on here, like she's one of those that last year like started just running on her own, and she was sharing on her page about how terrible running was and how much she hated it and how she wanted to get into shape, right? All those things. And so it was an easy invite for me to be like, hey, running doesn't have to be terrible. We actually are doing something kind of fun with it if you want to join, right? So you'll find if you watch people's posts and stories, this time of year, there'll be a lot of people that are going to try to do something, running or walking, and it's just an easy invite there. And of course, just other people who you've been thinking about or know are runners or whatever, even if people who aren't runners, I find it to be an easy boot camp to invite to. And I am also thinking, so the last time I did this, one thing I want you guys to think about and give me feedback on is whether we use body workouts or not in this hybrid. In the past, every other time I've had it, we haven't had body. So it's just been programs, specific days. And initially when body launched, I thought, oh, I'm going to do like a body running boot camp, because then it forces people to try body, and they're trying, and I can like pick out my favorite ones, like a lot of like the Amola Joel one, like a lot of the ones from the body launch, you know, when they did all those special ones, or like, I know like Barb Lynn, Elise Joan had like a birthday one that I loved, right? Like, and there's like certain Lee Jimenez ones that I love. So I could like pick out my body ones that I really love, but I still think it's kind of hard for people to find. It would be easier now that there's at least a date, but if someone was new to body, I think there might be a little bit, but I mean, yeah, so I'm thinking about that yet. I also think, you know, sometimes with body, it's a lot of legs, it's a lot of all body. So that would be harder to think of, to have body workouts with a variety that wouldn't completely tax out your legs if you're also running, right? So I want you to think about that, and let me know, because I could really go either way. I think it'd be nice for those people who haven't tried body to really dig into it and try it. But at the same time, I think our old way of having certain ones on VOD was really powerful and fun too. And we're having like 4-week gut protocol where they had to purchase, and we're having Fire and Flow where they're going to have to purchase. So it'd be kind of nice to have a group here where they don't need a purchase. You know, our old existing people don't have to purchase something to get access. I like to do every once in a while. So think about it. Let me know. Also, I really want to like do it big, because I don't know if I'm going to do another one this year. Like, I'd like to tell myself I'm going to do another one of these groups in the fall, but like, we never know what programs are going to come out and what's going to happen. So I'm thinking that I really want to have like tank tops and the whole thing for like everyone who wants to run this like 5K on Memorial Day. Last time I did Ignite Your Soul, and it was on 4th of July. So they're red, white, and blue. A part of me thinks like, do people really want like a whole nother tank top and another theme? Or is it like that we offered, because it was through Sarah Berg, so I know she could make them exactly the same if like we just wanted to offer it up again for those who don't have it. Like, I haven't quite wrapped my head around that yet, because Memorial Day is still kind of red, white, and blue, right? And it's, I mean, Ignite Your Soul definitely could, but it doesn't have the same marketability as something like new. But at the same time, like, if people have those tank tops, I don't want them to feel like, oh, I need to buy a new one. And clearly I would give them as like probably a bonus to new people who sign up with the challenge pack. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on that too. Think about it, let me know, because I could totally see myself thinking of a new theme and new tank tops and running with it. But at the same time, I know I could probably find a lot of the Canva links and story, like reuse a lot of my stuff and say like, we're doing it again because it was so fun. Oh, and we could even, I'm clearly thinking as I talk, but we could even use pictures of us from our tank tops from the first round as like a lead gen, right? Like, we're doing this again. And so we could use it to our benefit that we're using some of the same things. I could go either way on that too. What else do they have?
I think you could go either way on that too. I think it would be effective if you reused the theme. I think that would work. I don't think it would be a waste of your energy to come up with a new theme. I don't think anybody, there's something about a tank top that everybody wants the new tank top. Right. So I really think you need to decide what you want to do with your energy, because I think either way it will work well. And if, but if you're questioning whether or not it's worth your energy to create a new thing, I think it would be worth it. If something inspires you, I think people would buy into it. Okay. Yeah, I think what's holding me back now is not feeling particularly inspired. Like, I don't have another like Ignite Your Soul was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. Like, I loved it so much. And I'm like,
I've been thinking about this for a couple months and I haven't like, I mean, granted, it's not like I've been like, just sitting contemplating it, right? Like I have a million other things too. But usually if I have something sitting in the back of my brain, like something peaks out as like, I'm really excited about that. I'm going to do that. And I haven't had that yet. So I'm like, maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't, plan on expending all this new energy on this when I can just use what was effective last time. But yeah, but maybe one of you guys have been inspired and think of something great. I don't know. I'm giving myself another probably week yet to decide on that. And then there's something else. Okay, so we did the timing for that. And yeah, of course, whatever way I decide, I'll share like when I do lead generators. I usually do them every Monday for my boot camps. I'll share what I have and stories and everything else. Okay, then the last thing I wanted to share about is just the fact that it's funny because I forget sometimes like how blessed and lucky I am to have like space in my life now to do coaching, right? Because for many years that wasn't the case. For many years I was like sacrificing and working full time and being a mom and doing all the things and just like trying, like staying up late and just doing it because I had a vision and I had a goal. And this past week, I was back put in that space where like I had literally procrastinated my tax return. And I'll get this, you guys will laugh at this. And I had procrastinated my brother-in-law's tax return for 3 years. He asked me to do, yes, I know that face, Sally. He asked me to do his return and I was totally fine with it back in 28. Well, it was his 2018 return. So he asked me to do it in 2019, right? And remembering that was when I was like we had just moved. It was the spring of our first move and I was just finally getting out of like a really dark space. And anyways, he gave me the W-2, like, I don't want to go on too long about this, but he gave me the W-2 like a couple weeks after I had done mine. So I was like, already had my tax return done. I was like, whatever, it's a refund. It's not that big money. Like he wasn't making a lot. And so I was like, I'll get to it. Cause I knew that it was a refund. You have like 3 years before you have to do it. And literally for the last 3 years, I've been procrastinating it. And then I procrastinated my financials and returns because I have to do like a lot because of the beach party, right? I have to do all of the expenses and all the income and I have a lot. So I need to like throw as much expenses as I can so I don't have to pay a lot of taxes. And I procrastinated that until this weekend. And it was just like, or this past week. And like, I finally get back to the place where I was like, I really like I want to post. I want to do stories. I have all these ideas. Like I want to do all the things, but I literally like can't. Like this return is due now. Mine is due now. My brother-in-law's, it's been 3 years. It's due now. Right. And so I was finally back in that space where I was like, I really don't have, even if I wanted to, like I'm up till 1:30 a.m. doing this freaking return. And I feel like we're getting to that time of year where that's, well, and some people just have it all the time. And I just wanted to encourage you because I look around our team and those women that have, I mean, we'll all have like weeks or days like that, right? Where it's like, you really don't have the time and the space. But I want to encourage you and challenge you when I look at our team and the women that have made it a priority, even in the craziest seasons of their life, at least a little bit. Like I think of April and I think of Abby, and they like, Abby is a CPA, a partner in a firm. Like she is tax busy season and she still managed to hit Success Club because she like, for her, and I know April is the same way, like April through COVID was like working crazy number of hours. The hospital was totally overrun. Like all the things. And like, she still made a space. And it was, and I think about myself, like when I was working full time, like, and I had all the things on my plate, like the reason why so many of us like still find a way to show up even a little bit is because we feel like it's our positive outlet. Like it's our way to fill our cups. And I wanted to share that because I think it can be easy in this business to not see it that way. I think it can be easy to get distracted by Success Club numbers or rank or pay or a million other things. And I want us as a team to always stay focused. And I pray that this business is always that to you, that it is something that fills your cup, that it is something that you feel in your soul is helping people, that it's helping you, that it's helping you find, you know, a positive spin in whatever the heck you're going through, that it makes you realize that no matter what you're going through, like good can come of it, maybe just in sharing that you're in the middle of it so someone else doesn't feel alone, right? Like, because that is why I've been coaching for 5 years, even through the craziest, deepest, darkest seasons of my life, because I felt in my soul that coaching has a way of giving purpose to that pain, to whatever it is. And so I know like we're getting into spring, we're getting into summer, we're getting into seasons where it's totally a choice. It's always a choice, whether you want, you know, to invest more time and energy into this business. And I just wanted you to think through that. Like if for any reason coaching isn't feeling like it's filling your cup, then that is not my intention, and it will not sustain you long term. You need to really dig inside yourself and think about why you want to do this. And because you can't force yourself to do something that just feels like it's draining your cup forever, right? And I'm always willing to talk about this more on a one-on-one basis or anything. I just think it's so important for you and for your coaching journey, for you to stay focused on why you coach and make sure that it's coming from that positive place. And if it's not, then that's something that doesn't mean coaching is not the right thing for you. It just means that you need to really just reassess and think through. So anyways, I don't know who that was for, but it was like, it felt really heavy on my heart. And I've had other conversations with other coaches that like they're really struck, not in our team, in our larger team. And like, I feel like that's something I don't share a lot about in post, because I don't really talk about coaching a lot in post. I kind of expect to talk one-on-one with people that join my groups, and I see so much awesome potential in them. But that's something that really has been powerful to me, and why I continue to do it. Because I was so excited to finally file my freaking tax return and be able to get back to it. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. And then I didn't even tell myself I wasn't going to do it again, because I'm sure I will. But maybe someday some personal development will help me not get in those situations again. So yesterday was a big day. I sent my e-file in the morning, and then in the afternoon I drove my brother-in-law's tax returns to the post office, because you can't even e-file when it's 3 years late. Note to self. All right. Does anyone have anything? I'm still recording. So does anyone have anything that they would like to share or discuss that like Abby, April, Francis, Katie, someone else might want to hear, even if it's just something?
Can I respond a little bit to kind of what you were just talking about like filling your cup? Because I just want to share, I mean, one of the things that's very visible on my coaching journey is that I've been extremely inconsistent, and I've had a lot of highs and lows, and it on the outside, it looks like I'm coaching, I'm not coaching, I'm coaching, I'm not coaching. And for me, paying attention to how full that, and I've struggled a lot more with, like, when I get to the point where my cup is empty, that's when I stop, because I, for me, there are aspects of coaching that really do fill me up, that really energize me, that I'm really passionate about. And then just like any job, just like anything that takes work and effort, there are things that drain me. And then of course there's everything else going on in our lives that is the same thing. It fills you up or it drains you, your job, your family, whatever other demands are going on. And so I have kind of, coaching has been something where it's like, when I find that balance and it's filling me up, I keep showing up. And then as soon as either coaching drains me, or like really for the last 9 months or so, it was all the other changes in my life just like really took so much of my energy. And it looks like I have prioritized other things over coaching. But actually, what you can't know unless you're on the inside and unless I just say it out loud, is that I have been very carefully and examining how to prioritize my order of operations so that I can be that person that is filled up and can show up for others and not run out. And after just coming through Holy Week at church with my new job, I'm finally starting to feel like I can see, okay, this is what my daily schedule can look like. Okay, this is how I can plan ahead so that these things are handled. And this is the space that I have for this. And I, just like when I was pregnant with my daughter, coaching, because of the fact that I knew I wanted to coach and I wanted to do it, that's what kept me consistent with my self-care. I wouldn't give up on my own wellness because it was like, and I think for me personally, if it wasn't for coaching being an opportunity and an option, it is much more likely that I would have neglected my own self-care during the time when maybe I wasn't posting and I wasn't sharing and I wasn't inviting. But I still look back and feel like my own journey kept me strong to the place where I can show up. And so like to share that for our team is just like, I really do think in the next month, I'm going to start sharing again. I'm going to start inviting and I'm starting to feel like that might be more possible. It's not just a poof. It's not it. It's been like 9 months of saying, I want to do this. I don't think I can. I have to prioritize this first, not because coaching isn't a priority for me, but because I have to meet my family's needs. I have to establish myself in my job. I have to feel authentic. But anyway, I don't know if that goes on for, I feel like April might identify with that a little bit too. And just like having her baby and taking some time to focus on that and then come back and she's rocking it now. But anyway, I don't know if that story helps anyone, but that's where I've been at.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely something I talk about a lot, about the accountability factor. Like even, and that's honestly one big reason why I share like my people's transformations too, because like it's like giving them that accountability without them having to agree to coaching. Like they just have to agree that I share it. And I know that there's a level of, accountability when other people know that you're doing something. And yeah, when they join you and everything else. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Tessa, did you have anything you want to share with the team? Yes, no, it's okay if it's no.
It can be hard in just knowing truly deep down that you want this so bad. But like with what Sally said, I know I have issues like prioritizing what needs to be done first and what's gonna, take all my energy. But then, I know like the inviting part takes a lot of energy out of me. And then there's nothing left for other things. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out, like, daily, what I should do first.
Mm.
So then I have something left for the rest of the stuff.
That's so
and I
true.
know, like the last few weeks, I have not been in a good place. So I know, which is probably only like once a week lately. but even that's all I have right now. And obviously, like, I'm feeling a lot better this week already. Even though I do have a lot more stress this week, I am feeling, I'm ready to get back. I want to post more, but now I'm lacking thoughts and processes on what to share and how to share it, and then now prioritizing. I shouldn't be doing this right now,
Mm,
but I know I need to do it because I know, like, having more people join me will fill my cup,
mhm.
so.
Yeah, and I want to interject just quick because I think one thing our team shows really well is that, like, I'll say it again, like I always say it, but coaching is a lot like our wellness journey, in that it doesn't and shouldn't and doesn't need to be all or nothing, right? Because I think on other teams you can see even leaders and their people like posting 10 to 20 stories every day, posting to their feed every day, inviting 10 people every day. And there's a lot of teams that churn like that and they have success with that. One thing I love about our team is that you'll notice most of us don't do that. Like, most of us realize that if you do something with your heart and your soul and you do it well, you don't need to do all the things all the time. Like, April is a perfect example of someone who consistently, when she's hitting Success Club, she'll tell you she invites 1 or 2 people a day. Like, it's not 10 to 20, right? I think like personalities like me and Tessa sometimes like to do things in bulk, which can be helpful because then it's like, okay, finally I did it. Now I don't have to do it for a week. But you're right, like, it drains you when you do that many, right? But if you do it like April, you have to be smart in that you have a running list of people that you're going to invite. Otherwise, you spend like 15 minutes every day figuring out what 2 people you're going to invite. Well, that's not a good use of time, right? So, I mean, all of this is figuring out what works best for you, because I still bulk invite. But all that to say, like, I know in those seasons it can feel like, oh, I don't have, like, you can get so overwhelmed within yourself that you do nothing, versus, like, again, if you look at, like, I'm going to use April and Abby again, like, they're just, I mean, maybe it's just, a story or 2 a day, or even 5 stories a day. And it's not always about coaching, but it's like something that helps you, like, even just yourself continue to take action, so you don't feel like, oh, I've done nothing, and then you beat yourself up, right? Or like, again, I'm going to use April again, like, she posts twice a week, and like, that is doable for anyone, right? Like, so just, yeah, it's just important that all of us, like, remind ourselves, because it's like everything else, we can totally overwhelm ourselves into doing nothing, to just realize that even something, and honestly, that's why I procrastinate. I am the worst at it in other areas of my life. This is why that tax return that literally took me a half an hour, it took me 3 years to do it. Like, I procrastinated it. I made it much bigger in my head. Like, it was going to take all this time and energy. So I didn't want to start it. When I started, it was going to, like, you can tell yourself all these stories. Clearly I do it for other things. I guess I've just learned how in coaching to kind of coach myself out of it, and remind myself that anything is better than nothing, and just do a little bit, just start inviting and more will be easy. Just start writing a post and then it'll come to you. And if it doesn't, then just start doing a couple stories and then you'll want to do more, right? It's just like anything else. Sometimes it's just reminding yourself of that, because otherwise it's super easy to feel like, oh, if I'm not inviting, then why am I posting? Or if I'm not, if I'm not doing all of it, then why do any of it? And that's just not true. Because I have that problem with stories too. Again, I know how this works because I am the same way. Like, I don't do stories unless I'm going to do 20. I will tell you that's not the smartest way to do it. I'm still trying to train myself into being okay with just doing a couple and getting consistent with it. Right there with you. All right, anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to stop the recording so you don't have to listen to all this having. No. Well, oh, okay, well, since we're talking about live events, I will say too, that if you aren't, well, clearly we are going to the Super Saturday in Minnesota.
Mm.
So excited about that. And I haven't done it yet, but I am getting a hotel room and we're gonna spend Friday night together, and I'm so excited to do all of that. I wanted to announce publicly because I don't know, I didn't message Abby about this because I knew she had a conflict anyways, but they also, this is the first quarter that they decided to do their first Super Saturday in Sioux Falls. So that is something just to know. Yeah, Sally. So like if you have people in the area, now or going forward, like that's something we need to talk about more with those people. I messaged Frances because I know she's right by Sioux Falls. And I mentioned it to Katie too, because I don't know where she's at or what's happening, but I wanted her to know there's a one closer to her too. I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing, but they even are getting like a speaker. So maybe, I don't know if there's a leader out there that's arranging it, but that's pretty cool. And then of course, yeah, Coach Summit in July, which will be here before we know it. So lots of fun opportunities to be live. I cannot recommend it enough. All right, now I'll sign off. Thanks for listening to us and me more.